Hello! This is Joeofthemasks on my painting models and other such stuff. Anyways, last episode you saw me mix this together. As you can probably tell by the fact that it's still wet, this is still the day that I mixed this together. But I can't figure out how to make my camera record more than 20 minutes at a time, because I'm not exactly very good with computers and machinery. But I figured that the last video, being two almost 20-minute videos together, will be a good long just short of 40 minutes, or actually just after 40. No, just short. Should be just short of 40 minutes, which is an okay time for a video, I think. It's an okay time. I'm trying to aim for around half an hour, or maybe a little bit longer. You guys tell me what times you think are best, and I'll start maybe setting a timer or figuring out how to do things on my phone, and I'll try to fit that. Right now I'm doing what I'm doing, but if you guys if you want something different, if it's within my power, I'm going to paint the inside of the doorway, because that stonework is going to be visible. Okay, there's that layer. Yeah, make sure wood chunks don't accidentally get on your and we're just lightly brushing. I'm just the barest of touches, and I'm going back over the same spot until it gets to the shade I want, instead of globbing too much of it on, because you got to be careful or you'll remove a lot of the shadow. And that shadow gives us the illusion of depth. One way you can make sure that you don't accidentally fill in any of them is doing it diagonally from where you filled in the lines, so that the brush doesn't ever line up like it has done in a couple places. If you do each layer when the other layer is still slightly drying, I find it actually mixes together a little bit better. Alright, now we're going to take the our light gray, and put some of it in. Actually, let's put more of it in, make it a much lighter layer. Woo! I may have to put a lot more in. Should have brought up white. Then I could have just sprayed some white in it. No, I didn't bring up any white. My painting station, where I usually do most of my painting, is downstairs. I'm debating about bringing it up here because it's easier to record up here. There we go. We'll take this and we'll start spreading this over here. Go back to this one. And we're going to do it much lighter and much quicker. I just did, so let's go to this one. Okay, now we're going to take a lot more light gray. You can actually start to see the layers now of light gray in the paint, dark, light, lighter. Yeah, Joe's wasting a lot of paint, but my paint that I'm wasting is cheap. Alright, let's shake you a little bit, make sure you dry off. Let's clean my brush off again. And we're just coaxing the light out of the stone now. Just coaxing. And then do this angle to mess up some of the lines we accidentally made. To actually hit the inside of the door. Whoops, I accidentally had a little too much paint on that one. There we go. Stones are also a bunch of different colors of gray. They are not a uniform gray, which is also why this looks a little realistic, because not only is it lighting on the stone, the stones become much less uniform. See, we're starting to make the stone look a little bit more like stone. Alright, let's do one more light gray layer. And then I'm going to mix some tan in. Okay. Again, let's clean the brush off so that way Okay, so now we're going to take some tan. And we're going to make some, whoop. Make sure that, there we go. And we're going to make some tan gray. We want it more tan than gray. So kind of keep it in the same area. And we're going to take this and we're going to stipple effect some of the stone. And I think I also had a red one. So I'm going to take I want to make sure it doesn't just squirt out. There we go, and that's some burnt umber. And we're just going to stipple effect some red. Give it a few extra colors of stone. Okay, now we're going to go back to our light gray. And very carefully, we're going to dry brush again. And if you want to do the colored stones before the dry brushing of the bright colors, be my guest. There we go. There we go. Make sure I get my corners where my thumbs were. There we go. Now, I am going to also make some moss to climb up the sides. So I'm going to take some green. Not a lot. Oh, that was a lot. Very lightly. And again, this is something you could do before you do that last layer of light to kind of break it up again. Mostly doing the moss down here because moss grows more in smaller climates. I'm also not going to do the moss as much next to the door because the door, where you move a lot, would not have a lot of moss on it. As well as I'm not going to do the moss in here because that's where the furnace is going to be. Kind of grow the moss climbing along. Staying mostly in the cracks, but spreading around the stones when it can. And there we go. Now, let's glue it to our new base. And we're going to glue all these together. And I wish I had my glue gun, which is hiding somewhere. So I'm going to actually turn this off, look for my glue gun for a little bit. And if I can't find it, I'll just use tacky glue. But a glue gun is always nicer. Nope, still can't find wherever the heck I put my glue gun. So we will use Elmer's glue. Elmer's glue isn't bad, just the glue gun is a lot faster than the Elmer's glue. Okay. So this is the bottom because it has most of the moss on it. I'll just kind of take it and glue it right there. Just kind of set it up. And then let's go ahead and take one of these sides. I'm going to take it, run the glue on this, and on this. I'm going to take it and we're going to press it right here. I'm careful not to press it too hard, otherwise it slides. Okay. Like I said, we'll be taking some chopsticks, some thicker ones and running it up the sides like the beams that would support it. Okay, and then we'll place this. And we'll put it right here. Best thing about Elmer's glue is it dries clear, which is probably one of the reasons why it might be better to do this Elmer's glue than hot glue gun. Even though the hot glue gun is quicker, you can move the Elmer's glue gun out a little bit after putting it down. Just kind of glue it on right there. There we go. There we go. Now it's all fit together. And also be good to make sure all the styrofoam fit together before, because then you can like trim it to fit or whatever. Which it would have, but the wood's a little tall. But oh well, we'll still make this work. This will be fine. Okay. Bending up a little bit. Anyways, that shouldn't be too big a thing. Yep, all of in there is painted. That's good. Now I'm actually going to take one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or should. I'll take these ones actually. Let me put these back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pick you up, you're not garbage. Okay. Clippers, my strong clippers. Okay, you will be about that height. Okay, then we'll take the other one. No, these are going to be as high. These are just tall enough. There's that. There's that. Okay, perfect. go, there we go. And this is just the wood beams on the side that usually support these types of buildings. Like I said, do a lot of research photos. The internet is a wonderful, wonderful source. If you have buildings actually near you, that's even better, but for most people they don't. There we go. I like to check just to make sure we're still recording. See, and you can even do this with your hands shaking, as you can see. If I can do it, you can do it. There we go. Oop. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ow. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. As you can see, terrain building is not really an exact science, at least the way I do it. Lindsay must be home. Why yes, dogs, I am recording a video with the window open, so that's my fault. The window open because upstairs is always very hot, and that's where right now my workroom is. This spring we're going to put it outside. I'm going to build a barn for it because the barn we were going to put it in, the roof have just collapsed. I'm going to run some power out there, some lights, and I'm going to make my little studio. But that happens come actual spring, which probably won't happen until, April or June. And then that's when we start building, and so I won't move out there until probably summer. So most of my videos for a while will be done in here. There we go. And we will let that dry. But there we have the beginnings nice little hovel. Next thing we'll do is I'll build this little stone wall and a wooden wall here. Then I'll build the forge and put it here, and then I'll build and the forge and the the forge and the stove I'll build out of clay. So that way I can make molds of them and sell the molds. So that way you can have a stove or a forge, and you like any of the models that I make, you can buy. I just need to make a website for that, which I've been too busy doing. I'm probably going to start it on eBay, because eBay is the easiest to sell everything. And then I'll start putting links to the models that I make and the videos that I make, and I'll start putting links to them in from my eBay. I tried doing Amazon, but Amazon's like, do you own the rights to these models? And I'm like, yes, I made them. And they're like, oh, and then, yeah, tons of paperwork that, yeah, eBay doesn't care as much. And so I'm going to do it from eBay. But I'm really glad how this has turned out so far. Making a nice little tiny building to put next to my other nice little tiny buildings. Alright, I've been driving around all day. I just did a bunch of recording for you, and now I gotta do a bunch of editing. So I'm gonna lay down when I edit all these videos together. This has been, I don't know, I think 4 and 5, or it's either 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. Oh well, I know, because I know we're up to 3 on the dead trees and the corrugated steel. And so I think we're up to 3 or 4 on Elven Smithy. I'll find out when I go down and edit. And then corrugated steel is about to change into Raider Base. That's going to be the name of them, because I'm going to put some, you wait for the Raider Base one, and you'll see what I'm going to do there. It's an idea Gaz gave me, and I love it. And it's originally done by Games Workshop, the idea, but I'm going to try and put my own spin on it and show different ways that you can do it instead of just the one way they show. Ooh, excuse me. So, yeah, that's my video. That's so far how far we've gotten in the Elven Smithy video. Then I'm going to come out here. I'm going to make a pole for here. And then we'll get started on the roof once we make the stone wall and the wood wall up here, wood wall up to about here. And then I'm gonna get started on building the stove and the not the oven, the forge and the stove, the hearth or whatever. And then I'm going to build a rack of tools and make a mold of a rack of tools so you all can buy it, and I can use it repeatedly for other projects I do, because I have other friends who also build dioramas and models and stuff like that. But yeah, so there we go. Thank you ever so much. Wonderful seeing you here. And okay, on to the next video.